Hi, this is Vicki with Learning Home Volunteers, and welcome back to our learning session about animals. This week is mostly going to be about giraffes. They are the tallest mammal in our world. They have super long necks, but very, very long tongues that can curl around a leaf and pull it off the tree. Wow. Well, before we get started with that, we have another frog game. This one is a graphing game, and to start off, you're going to actually need to make your own dice. And to do this, you want to cut the dice along the big black lines like these right here. Then we want to make the folds along each of the dotted lines. And when you're done, the frog cube should look like this, and we can use it as a dice for our game. Next, we're going to use the graphing sheet. So using your crayons for each of the different colors on the face of your dice, we want to color in one of these frogs with one of those colors. So the first frog could be green, and then the second frog red, and the third frog purple, and so on and so on. Now to play the game, they're going to actually roll the dice, and every time they roll the dice, they're going to put an X on the grid that matches the color. And then they'll continue playing until one of the column reaches 5. And the frog with the one that has the most X's, they will color this frog that I'm pointing to with the green arrow, the color that that frog is. And the one with the least amount of X's, they will color the bottom frog, the color that has the least X's. Well, our next activity is activity number 10. And we're going to actually play some games that illustrate giraffe problems. For our first game, you're going to need a cup and the straw that we provided. And you want to put the cup down on the ground and put a little water in it. And then using the straw without bending your arms or your legs, see if you can drink out of that cup. Giraffes can't do that because they're so long. Our next game involves a long cardboard tube, which we will find in your box. And we're going to play a little bit of limbo. But instead of bending backwards like they do in that game, which giraffes can't do, we're going to have to try to bend forward without bending your knees to try to get under the tube. And no touching the ground with your hands because they can't do that. How low could you go? Finally, just looking a little bit and doing some measuring, I thought we could try the me versus the giraffe. You know, measuring is such an important topic. We measure every day the distance to the store, how long something takes to cook, how much sugar goes into the cake, how much does something cost, how many carrots go in the soup. And children at this age are actually ready to learn about these concepts. And the easiest way to excite children about measuring is in the form of comparison. So, what we're going to do with the sheet that we provided is compare your child to a giraffe. Now, on the left hand column are all the questions that we have. And then in the middle, we want to actually put your child's stuff using their non conventional measuring device so that they can use that cardboard piece that provides a certain number of squares, or you can use a tower of Unifix cubes to measure. On the far left-hand side are actually the measurements about what actually happens with the giraffe. You know, this is a great opportunity to discuss time and help them mark time with a timer on your phone or the kitchen timer to keep track of how long they sleep. And you can use these recording systems for them to make a mark on a piece of paper every time they drink a whole glass of water. For speed, Giraffes can run 31 miles per hour, which is about 45 feet per second. So, how many feet can your child run in a second? And then compare. I could only run 3 feet per second. Really sad, actually. But I'm sure your children could do much better than that. We hope you and your child enjoy all of these measuring activities. Activity number 11, we've included two sets of cards, a card and then a sheet with a bunch of different kinds of frogs. Every one of those frogs actually is a real frog. When you play a matching game like we're showing up here, the idea is the game actually helps build working memory. And working memory is the amount of information that you can store in your brain while you're actively working on a problem. For children that are ages 2 to 5, the younger group can probably handle a total of 6 face down cards. And the older group may be able to handle a grid of 6 by 4 or 24 items. So you want to take the cards and put them face down. And for each turn, the child would turn over two tiles. If they match, they get to keep the tiles. If they don't match, then they turn the tiles back over and it goes to the next person. And this works until all pairs are found. If you're looking for something a little bit simpler, we've included a sheet of paper that has pictures of all of the frogs. And then your child can turn over a frog card and place it right on the sheet itself. Both ways of playing are actually pretty fun. Our last activity for this session is activity number 12, mosaics snakes. And in your box, you're going to find a cardboard snakes and a big bag of paper squares, some big, some bigger. For this activity, you will need your glue stick. So put the paper pieces on the table and let the child adhere the pieces to make a beautiful snake scale pattern. Picking up the little pieces and manipulating to put them onto the cardboard is a great fine motor activity. Can't wait to see your child's snake. Well, this session's learning activities are over. Next week, the new boxes will be coming out. Mariana is still unable to deliver, so if your family coordinator is Mariana, things with your delivery may be a little bit different. More details to follow. Well, thank you so much. Bye-bye.